This is episode number 54 with Sofie Von Marricks. Welcome to the Glow Life podcast. I'm your host, Martina Fink, holistic health and beauty coach, Glow Camp retreat host, and eco lifestyle lover. I'm here to inspire you to live a glowing life day in and day out because you deserve the best life ever. Every week, I'll be interviewing international influencers, wellness pioneers, and health and beauty experts who are using their special gifts to make a difference in the world so you can feel healthy, confident, empowered, and beautiful. Okay, let's glow, girl. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to the Glow Life podcast. So excited you're here. Today's episode is going to be a massive game changer in terms of how you see yourself, what you think about yourself, and what you do every day. I am so excited to have Sofie on the show today. But first, let me update you on a couple of things. I have been traveling. I just got to the Caribbean where we will be staying for a couple of weeks. This is the first time I'm really traveling for that long, and not just traveling, but also working and kind of blending work with life and time off and yoga and all of these things. So I'm really excited to do this and experience this. And, it's also time outside of my comfort zone. I'm very used to having my daily practice in the morning, sitting at my computer for a couple of hours, talking to clients, and having these routines of everyday life. And I'm so happy to get out of it because it can sometimes feel a little draining. And it does feel like a normal job, and it feels like you wake up, you get to work, you start working on the tasks, you're a machine and you're just kind of making all the tasks and doing everything you have to do. And we lose focus on all the creative things that we could do in our lives as well. So the decision to come here and do this came out of love for travel, of course, but also love for ourselves to just take some time outside of our comfortable lives back home and to take some time to explore, to go on adventures, to learn new things, and just get out of that rut that everyone is in all the time. So also, when you are in that rut yourself, you're probably also surrounded by people who are in that rut. So we just needed to break free from that for a while. And I'm so excited to keep you posted on all our adventures. Definitely make sure you follow me on Instagram at Martina Glows and watch our stories every day, what we do, how we go from beach to beach, how we eat healthy smoothie bowls for breakfast, etc., etc. And before we get started, I want to share my top glow tip of the week with you. And it's something that I just started working on as I started my trip as well. I'm working on The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. It's a book by Julia Cameron, and she basically teaches morning pages. Morning pages is a practice where you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is fill 3 pages in your journal with whatever's on your mind without judgment, without thinking about it. And it's an amazing book that lots of people have shared on the podcast as well. So you may already know what it is. You may have done it already or not. And I've just heard it so many times in the last few weeks that I thought I have to do it. You can go check it out on her website, I think, Julia Cameron, but also on Amazon. You can get it everywhere in the bookstores. So definitely go check that out. And what we're talking about today is creativity, because obviously when you write more, when you journal, when you write down your thoughts, that can open up new doors to being creative. And that is exactly what Julia talks about in this book. And one thing that she recommends, besides writing 3 pages every morning, is to go on a weekly artist date. Now, an artist date is something you do for yourself every week. It doesn't matter if it's going to the beach alone, going to your cafe, going to a museum. It's time that you spend by yourself, with yourself, and with no one else. So no dog, no partner, no friends, just yourself. And it doesn't really matter what you do, but it has to be time that you are not distracted by social media, that you're not doing anything else, you're not working, but you're just being with yourself. And also, some people may think that this is very expensive, like you have to go get a massage and pay $200. No, like you can do simple things like walking alone around the block, going to the beach, if you are at the beach like I am right now, and doing little things like that, that is just quality time with yourself so that you can connect with your inner child, with your inner creativity, with the things that you already have inside of us, but that we often don't access because we're so blocked with and bombarded with notifications and all this noise that is going on in your life. So my tip for you this week is to go on an artist date. No matter what you do, no matter when you do it, pick a time in your calendar right now, pause the episode, check your calendar, mark it in your calendar when you're going to go on an artist date this week so that you definitely don't skip it. It has to be a non-negotiable. It has to be something you do every week, and it has to be, do whatever you have to do to organize it. Get a babysitter, talk to people at work that you have to leave at a certain time on that specific day. Tell everyone else that you're blocked on that day and you cannot meet for anything else. You're not going to cancel this. It's really important that you do it. Let me know how it goes on Instagram or send me an email as well. I would love to hear what you did for your artist date this week or what you want to do. And yeah, have so much fun getting creative and just connecting with yourself for a little longer than a 5-minute meditation or, anything else you may do. Go on that date and let me know how it goes.
I could not be more excited to start this conversation today with Sofie, who has been an incredible support in my life and business over the past couple of years. And she just has so much to share to help you live a more hot and rich life. So I cannot wait to introduce you to Sofie Von Marricks, who is a certified life coach and reinvention expert, entrepreneur, author, and content creator with a focus on all things self-love, confidence, and reinvention. As a certified life coach, Sofie draws from her knowledge and expertise to create transformative content in the areas of beauty, wellness, reinvention, personal development, relationships, travel, and self-care to inspire her readers to feel deserving of creating lives they truly love with unapologetic, bitchy confidence, in quotation marks. She does deep work with their clients on confidence, shedding negative thoughts and beliefs, and pushing boundaries so that they can level up their lives and become the women they truly want to be. In today's episode, we talk about why you deserve a hot and rich lifestyle, how to make your 10-year vision of yourself manifest into reality, why the clothes and makeup you wear impact your confidence, how to get started on your hot rich reinvention journey today, her best tips to feeling amazing with your life right now, and so much more. And you can find everything we talk about today in the show notes at martinafink.com/podcast/54. Welcome, Sofie. I am so excited to talk to you today on the podcast.
I'm really excited to be here. And I like being on the other side of this. It's fun.
So you are the queen of reinvention. And I want to know everything about how you got here because your life, you weren't born as the reinvention queen. Can you tell us the story behind it?
Definitely. I'll try to give the Cliff's Notes version. Yeah, things have come a long way. And I know everyone's been doing like that 10-year challenge recently, but I can't help but think about even farther back. And 10 years makes a huge difference in itself. But, now I'm a certified life coach, reinvention expert, and I really focus on like helping millennial women reinvent. But yeah, way back when, I could even start my childhood. Growing up, I was the eldest of 5 kids. I took every birth of a sibling as a personal attack on myself from my mother. I wasn't necessarily like a happy-go-lucky child. I was very anxious. I was very worried. I was very angry as well. And, that's all well and good when you're a kid, probably not a super pleasure to be around, but I really started to notice it really affecting my life, especially as soon as I became an adult. So around like 17, 18 years, especially when you leave high school and, you're starting your real life, I guess, as a citizen of the world. And I just started to see my life really unravel. And I was increasingly anxious, increasingly down on myself. I had a really destructive relationship with myself, with food, with substances every weekend, with time, with just like the self-talk I would have when I was at school or in my classes or with friends. And things just started to get really dramatic and really crazy. And it was, to be totally honest, completely exhausting. And there was a few different rock bottom moments, but I can't really pinpoint it to one, but I did get into a really negative, like romantic relationship. I was with someone who I definitely wasn't suited for. And it was just one of those classic, like toxic, I want you to love me. And why don't you love me? And just, it was super intense and exhausting. And I just somehow got my hands on some Tony Robbins CDs, because it was back when, you put a CD into a CD player.
Couple of years back.
Yeah, a few years back. And I had started listening to them in my car every day. And I just kept replaying them. I must have listened. It was like a big book of CDs. I must have listened to those, I don't even know, 100 times. Like I just listened to them over and over and over again. And because my relationship was so destructive and exhausting, I also started, like, every weekend we would have some vicious, awful fight. And I would take myself to the bookstore and go to the self-help section, which back then was like one bookshelf. Do you know what I mean? There really wasn't much. And I just started picking a new book and reading it, picking a new book and reading it, and really kind of learning a lot about myself and digging myself out of that hole and really starting to change my thoughts and beliefs and patterns. And, it took me about like 3 years before really making a change and listening to those Tony Robbins tapes over and over and over again. But my love of personal development and self-improvement really took its roots then. And when I kind of had the strength to leave that relationship and start really changing my life, I saw my life change so rapidly. It was really amazing. And I just couldn't believe the kinds of friendships I was having and the people I was manifesting and the opportunities that were coming to me. Like, my financial situation changed overnight. I met an amazing man who is now my husband, like very soon after I kind of started really practicing this stuff instead of just listening to it. And I just saw everything change. My grades at school changed. I started believing in myself. I started stepping in as more of a leader. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And of course, it was not like it was upward trajectory from then on. I went through another transformation, another reinvention later on when I was done school and I'd, been in my corporate job for a while. I reinvented myself into what I'm doing now. And there's been ups and downs the whole way, but it's really just all of these tools that I've learned along the way. And I see so many women that are still in the phase that I was way back at the very start of this. They haven't done any of this work. They don't even know anything about it. And it just is really exciting for me to go from, you can feel like you're completely out of control with your life, to doing really small incremental things, and your life can change so fast. And you can really, I remember being younger and just kind of waking up and going, this is not who I am. This is not the woman I imagined I would be when I was a little girl. I did not imagine my life would be like this, like vicious friends and barely making any money and living paycheck to paycheck and failing university. And this is just not with dating some guy who doesn't even like me. This is not what I saw for myself. And to just have these little tools and practices and things you implement every day, and it can really get you to the woman that you want to be. And I'm really happy with the woman I want to be. I think about 10-year challenge 10 years ago. This is better than I ever would have thought or wanted or expected. So that's thanks to the work that we do in the personal development world. And I just want to bring that to more women and let them know that they do have control over their life, no matter what their circumstances are. So that's the Cliff's Notes version of my story.
I love it. And, I feel the same way about this 10-year challenge. Like, I don't even want to look back and look at how I was and who I was surrounded by. And it's scary. And, I think it's really great that you mentioned it took you about 3 years to finally change, because that's the biggest thing I see with my clients and in my community is that people think that probably you and I just woke
Yeah.
up like this,
Yeah, no. And that's like a funny thing. I know people will often say, oh, easy for you or whatever. No, it wasn't easy. I really like, it does take efforts, but it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be awful, but it does take effort. I really believe change is like small incremental efforts over a longer period of time. And it doesn't mean that things can't change fast, but for you to really have like lasting change, it has to be a lifestyle. That's why like fad diets don't work, or why
Mm-mm.
binge dieting or whatever for 30 days doesn't work. No, it's like it has to be a lifestyle change, if that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
completely agree. And you talked about practicing this stuff. So another thing I see a lot in the world and in my community is that people read all the books and they go through all like the courses and the trainings, but they're not changing anything in the way they live their life. So change can only happen when you start taking action. And I agree with you that, it starts with one thing at the time. Start with one little action or habit and you can
Mm-hmm.
change your life.
Yeah, definitely. Hands down.
Now, I think you mentioned looking back on your life, you understand how you put yourself into those situations, and that was also some sort of intentional creation. Just like we create our lives today and the
Mhm.
lifestyles we live today, we also created the lifestyles we had back then and the surroundings and everything we had back then. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Well, I think when you create like the lifestyle back then, it's just happening unintentionally. And you're just kind of doing it unconsciously. And you think life is happening to you instead of happening for you. And actually you're creating your experience. So I think I think for me, that realization of, oh, I've created everyone here. I've attracted everyone here for a reason. They didn't just like, it's not random. I found these people. I found these situations. I looked for them. I sought them out. Like these things don't happen to everyone. They're happening to me because I need them. They have a lesson to teach me. And I think like it's kind of the most exciting and scary thing when you realize that you're creating your experience and you're seeing life through a certain lens because of the thoughts that you're thinking. And I think for me, when I was around 18, 19, I heard someone, I was complaining with a friend, and we had this really fabulous, like, gay guy that we were friends with. And he was just like, oh my God, can I swear on here?
Sure.
Yeah, you bitches need to shut up. Like, you're hot. Like, stop complaining. You're hot. You're rich. Just love your life, bitch. And I was like, oh, that is so funny. Like, I definitely didn't feel that way at the time, but I just decided that's kind of a mantra I'm always going to turn to. And it was kind of like, we all use, like, now in personal development, I'm sure you do this with you and your clients and everything. We use mantras and affirmations. And that kind of became my mantra and affirmation for my life, even before I knew what that was. And I just kind of started to like, oh, that's who I want to be. I want to be hot. I want to be rich. I want to love my life, bitch. Like, that's what I want. And I think if breaking that down, all that really means to me is like, making it a priority to live a beautiful life. Live a beautiful life where you take care of your health and you do things that make you feel hot and amazing and beautiful. Do things that make your life rich, like beautiful and rich, whether that is the way it looks, whether that's the way it feels, whether that's bringing in abundance so that you have the freedom to do the things you want. Obviously, love your life and like do it. Like, the bitchiness part of it is like doing it unapologetically. And I kind of just kept repeating that over and over. And that kind of made it so that I would make these intentional decisions to live a more beautiful life and to become the woman that I want to be and intentionally create my reality. So it's like, in the morning, hot, rich, love your life, bitch. Like, what does she wear? How does she do her makeup? How is she like showing up to my class that day or work that day or whatever? Like, hot rich live her life bitch do her life. And I just started intentionally doing things for that. And before, you're just kind of, sauntering through life, not really thinking about it. But whether, hot rich live your life bitch becomes your mantra or whatever, I think just the most powerful thing is like, take responsibility for who is in your life and what has happened, responsibility for your bank account, responsibility for the kind of friends you have. It's all a mirror for what's going on in our heads. So we have to change the things that are in our heads. One of my favorite sayings is when you change when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think that is the most true thing. So you have to intentionally like change your thoughts. So you change the way you see the world, and your world changes as a result.
Absolutely. And I just want to say how we started this conversation today before the podcast, before I hit record. I told you, you're looking so beautiful and glowing. You're like, yeah, that's how I like to prepare for interviews. And it's just a way, your way of doing things is like showing up as this hot, rich woman, and you're doing it for every single thing in your life. And I love that.
Yeah. And I think, that is like, obviously there's deeper work than just doing your makeup and your hair and putting on perfume before a podcast interview. But what I really like in terms of reinvention is the way I approach reinvention is like you reinvent yourself at 3 different levels: physical, lifestyle, and then like your core, your heart, your soul, like what's happening inside of you. But it's that physical change that is really tangible, and it's really small things that you can do that change the way you feel inside and open up your heart and open you up to seeing yourself and the world differently. So yeah, I like kind of grabbing onto those little changes you can do. Brushing your hair for 5 seconds, putting on your favorite lip gloss, putting on perfume before even a phone call or a coffee date or whatever, like whatever gives you that confidence boost. It's like, why not, like, when people save like an outfit for a special occasion, or like, that's my favorite shirt, so I'm only gonna wear it like once a month or whatever. It's like, why not just have everything in your closet that makes you feel amazing? Why not have everything you do every day? Why wouldn't you want to approach every day feeling confident and amazing and incredible? Like, don't just save it for when you see someone. I want to feel that way when I'm in my office alone. So yeah, it's just those little things that give you those confidence boosts. When we're more confident, we're happier, and then we're a more productive person, and we can do more in our day, whether you're seeing someone or not. So those little things. Another mantra that I came up with way back when with a friend, just like I have all these funny sayings with friends, and we were just like, look good all the time. Like, look good all the time. And that's just another like funny little mantra that we have, because it's like, look good, feel good. I want to spend my whole life feeling hot, rich, happy, amazing. So look good, feel good. I don't feel good if I don't look good. And it's not because I'm vain. It's because literally studies have shown that you feel better when you put effort into your appearance. You feel better when you wear your favorite outfit. And I'm sure we can all relate to that, right? Like there's an extra spring in your step when you're feeling like comfortable and confident, and you're wearing like your favorite shoes and your favorite dress or whatever, and it fits right. It just feels good. You feel like you can take on the whole world. It's like a superhero costume almost.
Yeah, I love that. And I totally agree with you. When I think back to the times when I originally started with makeup coaching, I noticed how like little things such as, concealer or eyebrows would make such a difference in the way women saw themselves, that I was like, okay, I have to like explore this more and teach more of this stuff, because it's so powerful. Like in one way, it gives you confidence when you look good. On the other side, when you feel good, that shows on the outside too. So it's like 2 ways, of confidence building.
Absolutely. And we actually have that in common, because throughout university, I actually worked at a MAC Cosmetics counter, and I was noticing the same thing. Like women would just come in and you could change their whole life with a lip gloss. Do you know what I mean? Their whole mood, the way they saw themselves would just totally transform. And that was so exciting for me too. And back on that, like, here's the thing, like makeup or the way we look, it's kind of like our second skin. It's how we present ourselves to the world, right? So you can use, and it's the feelings that you have behind it. You can use makeup, of course, as you would know, to hide yourself and camouflage yourself or tell the world you don't like yourself. And I used to do that that was something I used to do with makeup. I would like pile on all this stuff, like fake eyelashes, tons of foundation. I would wear makeup in a way that showed myself that I didn't love my real self. Do you know what I mean? Like I was trying to cover up things like, oh, I hate my short eyelashes, so I need to wear fake eyelashes every day. Oh, I hate my brows, so I've got to like make them better. I hate this part of me. And that was literally the dialogue in my mind. And now my approach to makeup is so much more like, I love myself, so I want to take care and like enhance myself. And that's been an interesting thing to go through, especially I've suffered from acne for the last few years. It's cured now, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, it was like, that was a conversation I would have to have too. Like, how can I use makeup, like not to be damaging for myself, but instead like, you know, show myself that I love myself, that I care for myself, that I still see myself as beautiful with this stuff on my face or whatever. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing for everyone listening. Like when you go to do your makeup today or get dressed, notice what you choose and why. Why do you do your makeup the exact way that you do it? Is it because you love your features, or because you're trying to camouflage or hide? And like when you put on your clothes, which is our second skin, and like something we're telling the world, like it's interesting to think about. It's like, oh, why do I always wear baggy shirts? Because I'm trying to cover up my stomach because I don't like it. Like, what does that mean? And like, why do I wear only dark colors? Is it because I'm sad? Is it because I'm trying to camouflage and hide? Like, just start noticing why you make the choices you make, but also notice, you know, think about that outfit or that lip gloss or that like makeup look that made you feel amazing. And like, what was it about it that makes you feel so amazing? Like, is it like I'm wearing a patterned dress you guys can't see right now, but like flowers make you happy and it kind of says something to the world. Or I could be totally in black, like I'm comfy and cozy. I don't want anyone to notice. And I sometimes do that when I'm going for groceries or something. It's like, yeah, all black, Lululemon hat. I don't necessarily want to talk to anyone right now. I just want to go in and out. But it's interesting to start noticing like the psychology behind your makeup, your hair, and your clothes, because that's just really what we're saying to the world. Like, this is how I feel. This is how I want you to see me. And that's something that your listeners or anyone listening might not have ever contemplated before. So it's really interesting to see what comes up.
Yeah. And I remember a couple of years ago when I was still on that makeup and confidence journey, I was holding presentations for students, and we were talking about, you know, how to make up and dress for job interviews and all of that stuff. And we would talk about the first impression, and the first impression consists of your body language, your voice, and what you actually talk about. And people always think, so what am I going to say at my interview? And like, how do I make sure I don't say the wrong thing? But really what you say, I think, comes down to like 7%. So the content of what you actually say in an interview is only 7%. And then 38% is the voice. So if you're like boring and monotonous with your voice, or if you're really excited and happy. And then the rest is 55% was body language. And that included makeup and confidence and clothes and like how you carry yourself. So I think that's just very interesting to think about, because we often overvalue how much like what we actually say, where who we actually are is way more important.
Oh, definitely. I read this really amazing book when I was working on kind of like the psychology behind my acne. If anyone wants to read it, it's actually amazing. It's by Dr. Ted Grossbart. It's called Skin Deep. You can get it for free on his website. He really talks about all of this too. Like, yes, how you carry your body. He gets you to strip down naked in front of the mirror and like look at the story that your body is telling. Do you slouch? Are you like really proud? Like, what does that say? Do you carry weight in different areas of your body? And like, what does that necessarily mean? Like, what does that mean? It kind of tells a story like, oh, maybe like, you know, if you have a lot of weight in your stomach, it's like, okay, this is her diet. This is how she treats her body. Or like, she's really stressed. And like, it tells a story about how you live your life, how you see the world, and how you see yourself. And Yeah, it's just really interesting, the psychology behind all this. And we don't realize, I think a lot of us think, oh, we know who we are and the rest of the world doesn't. But it's actually pretty surprising. Like you can cross someone on the street and tell a lot about their lives by the look on their face, their energy, their shoes, and it's not about judgment. You can open-heartedly do this and just start noticing things about people and seeing people and having compassion for them and compassion for yourself. But it's just really interesting how obvious we actually are, and we have no idea, which is, a kind of it can be a scary thing, but it can also be a very powerful thing, because these little things that you start doing when you start consciously reinventing the way you present yourself to the world, you'll change the way others react to you, the way you treat yourself, the way they, whether it's the barista at the cafe, you'll notice people start reacting to your presence differently. And it's a really exciting thing if you really embrace it. But you kind of have to know where you're starting from, honestly, and have this like really clear self-awareness in order to do anything to change.
I love that. So my question for you would be, after everything we talked about, if there's someone listening who wants to completely reinvent themselves, so they're tired of their lives, tired of that cycle or the vicious cycle they're in, and really want to step out of that, what would you recommend they do? Maybe you have like 1 or 2 or 3 like simple steps that they can do to start their reinvention journey.
To start their reinvention journey, I would, kind of envision the person that you want to be. I used to do that a lot when I was really young. And maybe, everyone's doing that 10-year challenge looking back. I would envision the person that you want to be 10 years from now. And I actually have, just touching on this, I have a really great meditation on my website. It's totally free. You really just you meet your future self like 10 years from now in a cafe and like, or wherever you want, imagine meeting them and have a conversation with them. And they kind of tell you, okay, yeah, it's called Meet the Woman You're Meant to Be. I'll give you the link, Martina, and it's called the Hot Rich Lifestyle Visualization. But I think that would be a really powerful way to start. And then from there, do the easiest things, like the easiest steps to get you closer to that person. And I think I would kind of do what we've been talking about. Just start like putting a little bit more effort to dressing the way that future version of you does. It doesn't have to be totally like all the way in putting on a costume, but just start kind of reinventing and revamping a little bit. It might be if you're someone who like always wears black or always is like pants and a baggy sweater or something, but you saw your future self and she's in like this beautiful dress, like power suit or whatever. And just, she felt really amazing and confident and like her energy was just a certain way. It's like, how could I just feel a little bit more confident and powerful and feminine like that future version of myself was? And just start kind of tweaking little things. And even like you can start really small. Like I'll just show you something I've been reinventing recently. I guess no one can see this, but like I was like, oh, socks are so boring. Like I just want to start making my socks hotter and richer. So I have like this collection of like cute little socks now, like sparkly socks and this and that. And like you can start with something as small as your underwear. Do you know what I mean? If you're not ready to like revamp everything, like just start up-leveling and upgrading little things about yourself. And so I would do that. And then at the same time, I would declutter. I would declutter things in your life. I would declutter your space, your home, your room, your bathroom, and just start like making a commitment to live a more beautiful and harmonious, hot, rich life. Because every woman has their own version of that. It looks different for everyone, but no matter what, like there's parts. Here's the thing, what got you here will not get you there. So that means you're kind of on a journey and you can't bring everything that is here right now. There are things that are part of this life that you haven't intentionally brought on. There's baggage. And so I think it's really important to like get rid of that physical baggage, like declutter, throw out things that are not on brand with your future self and don't make you feel the way that you want to feel 10 years from now. Get rid of them, fix them, upgrade them. That's what I would do. I would get clear on who you want to be 10 years from now. I would start doing things physically, like dressing a little different, making a little bit more effort to align yourself with that. And then I would declutter physically things that do not match those feelings that you want to have 10 years from now in your home, in your wardrobe, all of those things. So I would do that.
I love that. And, decluttering is also a big part of what I teach my clients, because how we live our lives is like what in our physical world is what's going on in our mind. And then when we start decluttering, we create more space, and we create more physical space in our lives. We create more space in our mind, and that gives room for new things. So
absolutely. And it's not just that, it's like a physical study that's like, there's been studies done. I know that there's one that's been done at like, I think it was like University of Indiana or something, that people like home cleanliness is a better predictor for health than whether or not you live in a walkable neighborhood. And like, and I know that there's also been another study done that's like women, especially women who describe their places as cluttered or full of unfinished projects are way more likely to be depressed than women who see their homes as like peaceful or harmonious. So, I mean, that in itself is more than enough reason to make your bed in the morning.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, take out the trash, throw out that old stuff, replace the light bulbs, fix the door, whatever you need to do, because we are all meant to live in beautiful, harmonious, peaceful homes. And it's going to make you feel so much more amazing and so much more focused, and your whole life is going to be easier. So you can kind of, reinvent yourself and make those changes. It's hard when you don't know where anything is and there's all this stuff in the way. So I'm a big proponent of the clean home, clean closet, and little tiny upgrades. Go home and upgrade your bra and underwear, ladies, and throw out your old socks, the ones that don't match. It's like little tiny things that make all the difference in your reinvention. And you'll start to see your whole world change as a result of those small things.
I love your socks. That's definitely something I want to look into.
Everyone needs to start wearing cuter socks. So that's a new mission. That's a new Hot Rich Live Your Life Bitch mission.
Love it. So what would you say has been the biggest lesson that you've learned in terms of personal growth over the last couple of years?
I think the biggest lesson over the last few years is that having a relationship or a faith with something bigger than you and like putting your trust in that is one of the best, most healing things that you can do. And I'm not saying so whether that's God or the universe or whatever it is, but I think just understanding that there is something bigger than us making this all happen and is also a part of us, and just really having a relationship with that has been one of the most powerful things for me in terms of personal development. And it's allowed me to heal things and have so much more peace and less stress and less hustle. And that's just been the biggest thing for me. So if anyone wants to kind of dive in deeper with that, there's an amazing book called Trust by, I can't quite, I don't know how to say her last name, but maybe we'll put that in the notes or something. I'll send that to you.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing book to read, to have more trust in yourself, in the universe, in everything. I think it just allows you to have so much more ease and peace and fun in your life. And it just takes the pressure off of yourself. So I would kind of say like, trust myself more, trust the universe more, trust God more. Like everything is happening in my favor and everything is happening for me. And I am creating this experience like with the universe. So have fun with it. Why not?
I love that. So beautiful.
Yeah.
So I know we've talked a lot about lifestyle now, but I would love to know from you what your version of a glowing life is, or your definition.
Yeah. Well, I think my version of a glowing life is like the mantra, hot, rich, love your life, bitch. Do things that make you feel hot and amazing. Do things that make you feel rich and abundant. Do things that make you love your life. Be with people who you love being around, do work that you love doing, and be in places that make you love your life and like make you see the beauty in the world, and do it all with bitchy, unapologetic confidence, and know that you have a right and it is your purpose to be on this planet that we are miraculously on, and enjoy it. We're not here to sit and complain and like be a victim. And I know people go through hard times, but like your outlook on it can be all the difference. So you have a right to that, and you don't have to apologize for it and make excuses or talk yourself into it or deserve it. And that's what bitchiness is really all about. So for me, I think that looks different for every woman, but that is my version of a glowing life. And I guess in terms of like how that looks for me, it's like dressing fabulously, like I'm ready for anything at any time, and taking care of myself and living, to be honest, my idea of a glowing life is living quite a peaceful life where I'm in nature a lot, and I get to, look out at the water every day and be with my family and my dog and my friends, and have like nourishing soul conversations with girlfriends over candlelit dinners. And like, that's my glowing life. That's what I love. I love to just do that and do it in beautiful places. And that's kind of the vision board of what it looks like to me.
Definitely get a picture of that now.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So let's talk a bit more about self-care. I would love to hear your self-care routine or what you do for yourself on a daily basis.
I think when I think about my self-care routine, it's definitely like things like making my bed is part of my self-care. I'm definitely working on drinking so much more water. My friend got me this water bottle that is Wi-Fi connected. So it connects to your phone and tracks how much you're drinking throughout the day. Water is big on my list for self-care because I wasn't a person that had a habit of drinking water consistently. And I always do my hair and do a little 5-minute beauty routine that is really fast. I make sure that I move every single day, whether that's taking my dog for a walk or getting on the treadmill for half an hour or doing a workout. Like working out is huge self-care for me, and I need it for my mental space, my body, everything. And then at night, I'm all about like a face mask and simple things. It's nothing crazy, like flossing. I love myself enough to floss. A lot of people don't love themselves enough to floss. And if you're one of these people listening, please floss. It adds 7 years to your life. So please do it. And yeah, I have all sorts of things I rotate, like lots of beauty things, but it is really like those simple things and allowing myself time to chill throughout the day and be present in the evening. And part of my self-care routine recently is shutting my phone off at like 8 p.m. and not being available anymore, and like putting that phone in the other room. I think that's a huge part of self-care as well, is like allowing yourself to be present and just doing more things I love, art and like listening to music and all those fun things. I think that's all really a big part of self-care.
Yeah, beautiful. I have a couple of quick questions before we wrap up.
Definitely.
The first one is, what is your favorite healthy food?
My favorite healthy food, there's so many, but I really love a gorgeous acai bowl. I just think it's the best. I love smoothies as it is, but I just love seeing all of that food and superfoods like piled on top when it's really gorgeous. That just makes me so happy. So I love an acai bowl. I think that's my most favorite thing. I try to do it at home and it is really fun. It is like a lot of work, but yeah, I just love going for one and having that somewhere. It's my favorite.
Beautiful. What is your favorite book of all times that you think everyone should read?
My favorite book of all time. I think my favorite book of all time has got to be one of the first ones I ever read. I think every woman should read Why Men Love Bitches. I think it is an amazing personal development book hidden as a snarky, like a snarky relationship book. I think it's really fun and funny, and that really kind of got me started. But in terms of like real personal development, I don't know. It's really hard to pick a favorite, to be honest. But one I turn to over and over again is actually Marianne Williams, anything by Marianne Williamson. But I love Return to Love. And I love The Art of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. I think it's just really beautiful. And I think she perfectly combines kind of what I was just talking about earlier about like trusting something bigger than you and having a relationship with that. I think she really beautifully encapsulates that. And I love listening to her voice on the audiobooks. So that's what I would recommend.
I love her.
Yeah.
Return to Love too. So beautiful.
Yeah.
What are 3 things that you are grateful for today, Sofie?
3 things I'm grateful for today are like walking along the ocean in the morning. Every morning I get to do that and it never gets old. And I am never not thankful for it. I am really grateful for my health and my healthy body. I don't take that for granted at all. And I'm really grateful for the amazing connections that I have as a result of the work I do online with women like yourself, Martina, amazing clients, amazing friends. It was really, of course, it's so scary to put yourself online before you do it in this way, but it's just wild, the incredible connections you make as a result of the internet. So I'm very thankful for the internet, and I'm thankful for the community that is out there in the personal development world, connecting all of us women. It's really fabulous.
I couldn't agree more with you. It's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one thing that everyone should do for a little bit more glow or bitchiness in the world, what would you say that is?
I would, if there was one thing, I would make sure you just have a go-to outfit that makes you feel fabulous, that like puts a spring in your step. And if you don't have one, find it. Like just figure it out. Go through your closet, try things on. I think every woman needs that, like, okay, I need a confidence boost. This is going to be it. Or just having your go-to confidence boost in general, like whether that's a song, whether that's a lipstick, whether that's, whatever that is, have that go-to. And I definitely have, like, I've kind of made my wardrobe so that everything is a go-to, so that I always feel fabulous. If I don't feel amazing in it, it's not in my closet. Like it's just not. So yeah, have those things, have these little things that you can turn to for a confidence boost at all times.
Love it. And I definitely need you to come over and go through my wardrobe.
Well, it's always fun. It's fun to do that with someone else, and someone else can kind of be a bit like, kind of straight up with you. Like, do you feel fabulous in this? Yes or no? Let's be honest. And then kind of take you through that. And I have someone who does that with me too, because I can negotiate with myself as well. So yeah, have that person in your life.
Definitely. Now you have a free mini course that you wanted to offer to everyone.
Yes, definitely.
We're going to share it in the show notes. So can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, so it's just a really great jumpstart to reinventing yourself. It's reinventing yourself in a weekend with me. It's 4 days. It's really great because it's got those super small action steps that I've been talking about. It's going to introduce to you kind of those 3 levels of reinventing yourself: physical, lifestyle, and your core self as well. And you're going to start taking little tiny action steps towards each of those areas in the 4 days. And it's just really beautiful and fun. And it'll just really get your reinvention started. So definitely check that out. And it's something you don't have to wait for the weekend, but it's something that you can do if you want to take this weekend for yourself and just be like, okay, I'm focusing on myself. But they're really small action steps that take literally no longer than 5 minutes. So it's just a fun way to get started.
Yes, love it. We'll share the link in the show notes. Everyone go check it out because it's amazing. And you just launched a new membership club as well for everyone who is serious about their reinvention and wants to do something on a monthly basis. Can you talk us through what the membership is?
Absolutely. This is I am just so freaking excited for this. So it's the Hot Rich Reinvention Members Club. It's just so great. And I created this because I was working with a lot of women on business coaching, but I was really noticing in myself that you can have all the strategy, the techniques and everything. And guess what? All that stuff is Googleable and figure outable online. You actually don't need a business coach to show you all the things. However, it's very great to have a coach and very great to have someone pushing you and keeping you accountable. However, if you have those like limiting beliefs and that kind of bad relationship with yourself, or your environment isn't on point, or your relationships and lifestyle and the things you're doing aren't a match, or you're feeling not that great about yourself, then you're not going to do the work. And I think so many of us listening, like there's things that you know you should do or want to do, but you're not doing them. And there's a reason for that. And I was also noticing that reinvention, as we spoke before, it takes time. I was working on this for 3 years before I saw anything. And I was having these programs of clients where I'm working with them for 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, whatever. And yeah, things don't happen that fast. And I really wanted to have something that was accessible for everyone and was for women who aren't just entrepreneurs, but maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe you love your career and want to stay in it. Maybe you just want to be a lady of leisure, but work on yourself, whatever it is. I really wanted something that would serve everyone. And I wanted something that would bring a community of women together and really connect everyone. And that was something I'm so grateful for. And I really want that for every woman, not just, someone who's a personal development personality or whatever. So I'm bringing everyone together. We have an amazing focus every month, that one area of your life that we focus on reinventing. And we have master classes and healings and little challenges every week. So you can kind of start implementing those small steps. And I really want to create a reinvention revolution with millennial women. So that's what we're doing. I literally just kind of soft launched it yesterday, and we've got some really cool women who have joined already. So I'm so excited. And yeah, if you're serious about getting from where you are to the woman that you want to be, and you really want that support and community and just kind of a nudge to push out of your comfort zone, the membership is an amazing opportunity for you. So would love to have you if you're listening.
Beautiful. And we're going to share the link to that in the show notes as well, so everyone can join. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today, Sofie?
I think just know that no matter where you are in your life, you can always get from where you are to the woman that you want to be. It is never too late. It is never too late to totally reinvent yourself. And you're this is your experience. We only are in this life experience once. So, take it seriously. And if there are things that you're not happy with, you can make it different. And the thing is though, it's going to take something different to make it different. Again, what got you here won't get you there. So, get the help you need. Get out of your comfort zone, do things that scare you a little bit, work on your confidence, read a book, listen to a meditation, seek out someone who inspires you, and just start taking those baby steps. It doesn't have to be you don't have to come out and have this 30-day makeover. You can really take small steps, and it'll start making big changes in your life very fast. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Where can people find you online, Sofie?
You can find me at www.justloveyourlifebitch.com. If you click on shop, there will be all of the freebies I have, free meditations, also access to the Hot Rich Reinvention membership, and anything else we've got going on will be under that shop link. And then you can find me on Facebook as well. And it'll just be Hot Rich Love Your Life, because they don't like swears. And then on Instagram and YouTube, it's Love Your Life Bitch, but it's LOVEURLIFEBITCH. And that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. And we will definitely put all your links in the show notes too, so people can connect with you everywhere. And your Instagram is so adorable. I love being on there. It just makes me feel so good. So everyone go follow her. Thank you so much for being on the show today and for taking the time to share your reinvention wisdom. I really
Absolutely.
think you're doing so many amazing things in the world and helping so many women reinvent themselves and being their hottest and richest version of themselves. So it's been amazing to speak with you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me, Martina.
I am so inspired to go work on the way I live my life now and definitely up level my wardrobe and many other things in my home to get to that next level. I absolutely love today's episode and learned a lot from Sofie again and again. If you loved it too, please subscribe to the podcast and leave me a review on iTunes so that even more people can listen to these inspirational stories that Sofie and I shared today. For everything we mentioned in today's episode, you can go check out the show notes at martinafink.com/podcast/54. Let's connect on social media. I would love to see you there. You can find me at Martina Glows on Instagram and Facebook. And if there's anyone in your life that you think could benefit from today's episode, please send it to them right now. Thank you so much for being here today and for listening to our conversation. We hope that this inspires you to live an even more glowing and hot rich life. You deserve to feel healthy, confident, empowered, and beautiful.